Remember, it was 400 years from the time that Pharaoh began to oppress the people until the time of deliverance. But when did Pharaoh begin to oppress people? Not during Abraham's life, not during Isaac's life, not during Jacob's life. When was it? After Joseph's life. So there's 200 years. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph, and it's only after then, and then we have the 400 years. So it's about 600 years from Abraham to Moses. That makes sense? What's the next date that we should know?
So Joseph with Egypt would be about what date?
Joseph would be about 1800
Thank you.
BC. David. When is David?
1000.
1000 BC. David is 1000 BC. In fact, just a few years ago, what did they have in Israel?
3000.
We're coming up on next year is going to be what? The 250th anniversary of the founding of America. They had in Israel a founding celebration for Jerusalem. And which one was it?
3000.
3,000 years. 1000 BC. A little bit older than we are.
A little bit.
The next date that you should probably know is the 600s BC. And what's the 600s BC? What's the 600s BC?
Isaiah.
The fall of Jerusalem. Babylonian captivity. It's actually 580, but let's call it 600 BC. Again, these are round numbers. I'm giving you round numbers because they're easier to remember than some specific date.
The age of Job?
Job would be about 1800 BC.
With Joseph.
I'm sorry, that's Joseph. Job would be right around 2000 BC, sometime in that range.
You said the Babylonian.
With the Babylonian captivity. It's actually 586, but we'll call it 600 BC.
So do you believe that's the Job would be the oldest book then?
Job is definitely the oldest book. And you can prove that a different way simply by the Hebrew. The Hebrew in Job is the oldest, least developed Hebrew anywhere in the Bible. There are so many words in Job that we simply do not know what they mean because they were antiquated words by the time of Moses. They were.
And you said there's about 10,000 words in ancient
Hebrew. Ancient Hebrew has about 10,000 words. Which is very significant. Why? Because words have a lot of different meanings. When you have, and so begat so-and-so in the Bible, what does that mean?
Generations.
It can mean child of.
Can mean
Child of. It can also mean grandchild of. It can also mean great grandchild of or descendant of. Same word. 1 generation, 10 generations, same word in Hebrew. And we don't know which it is. And that's one of the reasons why when Usher tried to go back and say, here it is, 4,400 BC, that's when Adam was created. And if you have a Schofield Bible, that's what it will say. Can't do that. Because we don't know when it says begat, how many generations it's talking about.
And then we also don't know if people were left out of that.
Correct. Which is a different way of saying exactly what I'm saying.
Oh, and for sure, I was just telling him I was rereading Genesis, and you can tell because they will be like, oh, they married, but then it's like 900 years, and I'm like, okay, well, how many people
Yeah.
were produced in like even Eve, even Enoch, excuse me, Cain and Abel, and then she gave birth to,
So,
Seth and
and how much time?
Right, she only had 3 kids. I mean, that's the whole earth.
That's the whole earth populated with 3 children.
and understand, people argued with that for years. Genesis can't be true. In the late 1990s, what scientific project was completed finally?
The Genome Project.
What's called the Human Genome Project. The Human Genome Project was a massive undertaking. It was a result of what? Brand new technology in human existence.
DNA.
DNA. And what the Human Genome Project did is they took human DNA from humans from all across the globe, especially confined, isolated groups, like, who would be among those?
Hebrews?
What do you mean
Eskimos?
isolate?
Like islands.
Eskimos, because they are a very insular people. They intermarry within their own area. They don't tend to spread everywhere. Who else?
American Indians?
I'm thinking the Indians in India on that island that don't meet.
Yeah,
Amazon.
other
tribe,
people.
Amazon, like.
Think of the opposite of the Eskimos.
Asian? Antarcticans?
There aren't anybody in Antarctica, but there's somebody in the southern hemisphere that are very isolated.
Amazonians.
Yeah, people in the Amazon, deep in the Amazon, deep in South America, but also what other continent?
Africa.
Australia.
Australia. Who's in Australia?
Aborigines?
The Aborigines. And what is the difference in human beings across the world? If you were to go to cultures in South America and you were an alien coming down from another planet to describe humans, how would you describe them if you landed someplace in South America in some of these isolated tribes? The average human would be maybe 4 foot, maybe less than 4 foot.
Midgets, short people?
Yeah.
No intelligent
Oh.
life here.
Yeah, no matter where you land.
Hmm.
You know, what's the average? Anybody ever seen the difference between when Americans meet with North Koreans? When they have those peace talks in North Korea? Americans, North Koreans. They're literally 1.5 foot shorter than
They're also
Americans.
malnourished.
Lots of different, but despite all those differences, skin tone. What do Eskimos have that none of us have?
An extra layer of fat.
An extra layer of fat that shields their skin from frostbite that we don't have. Despite all of that, what did the Human Genome Project prove unconditionally through DNA?
We all came from 2 people.
Every single human being on Earth are the result of 1 woman and 1 man. Period.
But then again, they use DNA for dinosaur bones to say they're 100 million years old. How do they-
No, they don't. DNA doesn't tell how old anything is. They use radiocarbon dating for that.
Now, can I ask you, wouldn't they need something from Adam and Eve to
No.
put that together? No?
Because if you take those DNA, you say this person here and this person, they're related. They come back to the same DNA. They come back to the same root from that tree. There's no way this DNA is disconnected from this DNA over here, this DNA here, this DNA here. No matter where you go on the tree of humanity, every single one goes back to the same root. Period. And that was a major, because there was all this talk, well, maybe humans came about differently and maybe they evolved in this spot or that spot or some other spot. No, every single human being on earth came from one man and one woman. Anyway, so 2,000 years ago, Job is written. What kind of, let's go back to Paul's question, what type of literature is Job? If you have a modern translation, you can see it by the way it's written. If you have a King James, it won't show you that.
And antiquated,
No,
poetic,
it is poetry. If you have a modern translation, notice how it is different than, it's not in paragraph form. It's not, it is written as poetry. What is one of the rules of poetry? Very important rule of poetry.
English, they rhyme, but they don't rhyme that.
It doesn't need to rhyme to be a poem.
What's poetic license?
That you can, I don't wanna say embellish, but it's almost like
Use-
there's. Yeah,
You
like
Green it.
speak metaphorically. So in the Psalms, it says, "O Lord, deliver me from the horns of the unicorn." Does that mean unicorns were real?
No.
No,
Maybe.
I was gonna say maybe.
no. Doesn't mean that unicorns. What does it mean? There is this beast, mythological beast, that is portrayed as having this horn that is very deadly. Deliver me from a deadly threat. Something that I cannot oppose because it is this mythological creature.
So does that speak for also what you told us about before, the Leviathan?
The Leviathan in Psalms and in Job and in other places, it talks about the Leviathan. What was the Leviathan?
Dinosaurs.
The Leviathan was a sea creature. It was the monstrous sea creature that devoured everything in the ocean. When a ship disappeared, why did a ship disappear?
The Leviathan ate it.
Leviathan got it. It ate it.
something to blame it on.
Yeah. So when the Bible talks about Leviathan, protect me from Leviathan. Protect me from this unopposable thing. What was the one on the land? If Leviathan was in the sea,
Behemoth?
Behemoth. Was it a dinosaur?
Probably.
Who knows what it was? It an elephant? Or was it this beast? And again, where's it written? Is it in some, is it in the law of Moses? No. It's in these poetical books where they're using poetical language. So when he talks about these snorting flashes and things like that, is he speaking in literal terms again, or is this metaphorical? And we always have to understand, can you take the Bible in the sense of everything in the Bible is literal?
No.
There are some people that say this. Is all human language made to be taken literally? So when Jesus says, what?
I am the bread.
What's this? If your
Fingers.
Causes you to sing.
causes you to sin,
Cut it off.
Boom! I don't see any people, Nick tried, didn't succeed very well. I see everybody's got two hands. Some of us have a couple less fingers, but we all have two hands. He says if your
Eyes,
Offend you.
pluck it out.
I look around, everybody's got two eyes, right?
That's why people have patches on their eyes.
Yeah, there you go. Again, what is when Jesus is saying that, what is he saying?
Metaphorical.
It's metaphorical. When Jesus says there is this thing called we eat it on soft pretzels,
Salt.
Mustard seed.
a mustard seed is the smallest of seeds.
You find a mustard seed on a pretzel.
We find the stuff they make from it, the mustard. And it grows into the greatest of trees. So if I was to travel around the world and look for the greatest trees in the world, what would I find?
That's the ones in California.
The sequoias and the redwoods. And there's this huge one that doesn't get so tall, but it's bigger around the school buses long down in Mexico. And then we've got the giant the mustard tree, right? That grows to be hundreds of feet tall.
It's a shrub.
It's a shrub.
If it's a shrub, why they say, is that like the tallest tree in Israel?
Good stuff in Mexico.
I think it's kind of saying that of the herbs, it's the large.
Correct. So
It's not even a
again,
seed.
it's not that he is making an illustrative statement. And within that context, can we understand exactly what he means? A mustard seed is
Oh,
so tiny. If you've ever seen, I had somebody that was selling mustard seeds. How do you sell mustard seeds?
Yeah, as a pack.
Mom had one, but it was in this magnifying little container on her charm bracelet.
Yeah, but when you sell it, you take like honey and you dump it on the honey on a piece of paper and you sell it as just a strip of honey because you can't see the individual ones. So small, you can't see it. And it grows into something that's totally out of proportion to how tiny it is. Do you get the point he's making? Does that mean the mustard seed is the smallest seed in the world? No. Does that mean the mustard tree is the biggest tree in the world? So again, yes, it is speaking in metaphorical things. Does that mean the Bible isn't true? No. It means you have to interpret it the way we interpret all language. If I were to say to you, if I were to say to my daughter, if I've told you once, I've told you 1,000,000 times, shut the door when you go out. Does that mean I've been keeping count? And last time was 999,999. This time, and tomorrow, when I tell her, it'll be 1,000,001.
that's like trying to count 70 times 7,
Seven.
190 times.
Yeah. Again, these are things. So when you read in Job about these things, understand that that's very metaphorical. Could it be referring to a dragon? Absolutely. Does that mean dragons are real?
It could have been. There's no proof against.
Probably not. What it is meaning is that he's making a point about things that people believed in that day. And that you have to understand that God is, do you remember the song that they sang? Who was it sang it? When we were going to creation, God is greater than the boogeyman. He's greater than Godzilla and the monsters on TV.
Oh, yeah. Audio adrenaline?
No, VeggieTales.
Oh.
VeggieTales. Does that mean that they were claiming that Godzilla was real? He's saying they're saying whatever you imagine as this terrible, frightening thing, God is greater than that.
But if they mention the Leviathan several times in different accounts, doesn't that mean that there's a possibility that it truly was real? And couldn't the Leviathan maybe have been some kind of shark, like a
It could have been,
megalodon or?
Well, Megalodon would definitely look like a Leviathan.
or a whale.
You can't
But-
prove the existence of it, so there's no point in.
But again, did the vast majority of people in the ancient world believe in a Leviathan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me ask it a different way. How many times does the Bible mention Baal
Oh,
Countless.
or Moloch?
Countless.
Does that mean Baal or Moloch were real gods?
no.
Why does it say God is greater than Baal or God is greater than Moloch, or
Because he is.
why?
Well, they don't really exist.
Because there were a lot of people who believed in Baal, right? And God saying, no, nope. Does that mean Baal's real or Moloch's real? No.
Only in wicked imaginations.
What he's saying is, if you believe this stuff, understand that's not the real reality. When Moses goes in to Pharaoh and challenges Pharaoh's deity, was Pharaoh really a god?
No.
No.
No. But again, he challenges him to say, you want to prove you're a god? Step up. Here's what I can do.
I thought he didn't. I thought it wasn't that he thought he was a god. I thought
And the Egyptians,
right.
well, but he did too,
Oh,
probably. When you've been told you're a god your whole life, it's pretty easy to believe it.
I think they believed he was a god because he was in charge of saying when to plant
Yeah.
and when not to. So that's how they took him out.
Well, and
They love it.
why would the entirety of their society push that he was a god?
Because they had to build a pyramid. They spent their whole life building.
What don't you do if Pharaoh's a god?
Upset him.
Specifically, because how much of society doesn't have the greatest life in the world, in the ancient world?
Most.
What don't you do if you're in that thing if Pharaoh is a god? What one thing don't you do?
Agitate him.
You don't rebel, because you don't rebel against a god.
because if he is a god, then you're gonna have to deal with him now and in the afterlife.
Right, exactly, because now it's not just Pharaoh's army can round you up and kill you. It's Pharaoh has power beyond the grave for you.
is that
So-
what
Oh, absolutely.
The after of royalty, which what they would think was a deity.
Yeah,
And also
exactly.
the gods they believed in, that was like they believed in Ra, the god
Yeah.
of death.
Right, that's the ones I was thinking of, the weird animal heads and stuff.
Yeah,
But they also, in their culture,
sorry.
like if you look into Egyptian culture, they believe that Ra walked around. So they would
Yep.
make stories saying, oh, when I was pregnant with you, telling Pharaoh, when I was pregnant with you, Ra crossed my path and said, or, Ra is your father, so you are a god. But
Right.
they wouldn't question it. He wouldn't be like, well, I don't think Ra's, because they learned that their gods walked around in not human
Yep.
form, but as humans.
So it's just another version of the Greek gods.
sure.
Essentially.
They were all very similar. Janet, you had a,
So in Genesis 3,
uh-huh,
in 14, under the second or Adamic covenant, the God, the Lord God, it said to the serpent, because you have done this, first,
1 second. Hey, Mom, is it a crisis? I'm in prayer. Yep, bye.
he's saying, so God is speaking to the serpent at this time. And he said, cursed are you above all the livestock and all the wild animals. You will crawl on your belly and you will eat dust all the days of your life. And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and before your offspring and hers, he will crush your head and you will strike his heel. He's talking to the serpent. I've read this 100 times.
Okay. So, who is the serpent
Satan.
symbolically?
Satan.
Satan. And it's interesting because the NIV says your offspring. And at least it does it singularly. But the actual term there is what?
Seed.
Seed. Or what is the term for seed when you go into the New Testament in Greek? That's a word you know. Just a different, sounds a little different.
Can you repeat that question? I was looking something.
What is the Greek word that is translated for this in the New Testament as seed? It's a word you know.
Said
Sperma, from which we get
I don't know that one.
the English word
Firm.
sperm.
I was gonna say that, but I didn't want to be wrong.
Sperma,
And you would have been that guy, Paul.
from which we get the English word sperm. So it is saying what is, first of all, wrong with this verse.
Seed comes from a man, not from a woman.
Sperm.
Does the seed or the sperma come from a woman?
No.
What comes from the woman?
Egg.
An egg. The seed or the sperma comes from a man. But he says, I will put enmity between you and the woman. The serpent and the woman, Satan and the woman, but between your seed, she
And
doesn't
her
have a
seed.
seed, and his seed.
Oh,
So who is the seed of the woman? Jesus. Why Jesus?
Because he had no earthly father.
Because he is the one who is born of a.
Virgin.
So right there in Genesis 3:15, you have the virgin birth.
So that's prophetic.
It is entirely prophetic.
But what, between you and the woman, who's the woman he's referring to?
Who is the woman?
Mary.
Eve. There. So he's talking right now, there's this enmity. But that's not the enmity that matters. The enmity that matters is between your seed and the woman's seed, Satan's spawn and Jesus. And as I've got to look it up in Galatians.
If I just pick this Bible up and I'm trying to learn, how would I ever put that together?
Yeah.
I read this 100 and I kept rereading it and I said, I can't wait for Bible study. This is my question. I would have never put Jesus and Mary into that verse. Not in a million years. I would have died and went to heaven and God would have been like, look, I'm talking about Jesus and Mary. And I'm still living.
Why didn't you know?
Right. I would have never, ever, 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 ever put that together.
And
Even the way it's written between you and the woman, well, I was like, what woman? Eve, but he's talking to the serpent and
well, wait, look up Galatians 3:16. And see, that's why Ephesians says God has given apostles, prophets, evangelists, pastors, teachers, what? To equip God's people. That's why it's so important. Yes, we study the Bible for ourselves. What does Paul say that the people in Berea did? They received the words with ready minds, then they searched the scriptures whether it was true. You need to be open to the teaching of the apostles, prophets, evangelists, pastors, teachers, then you check the scriptures to make sure they're teaching you the truth. What's Galatians 3:16 say?
Promises were spoken to Abraham and to his seed. Scripture does not say, and to seeds, many, meaning many people, but, and to your seed, meaning one person.
One person, and that person is Christ. So that idea of seed goes through Genesis. It starts in Genesis 3:15. It then goes into Abraham. And in both times, it is seed singular. And you come to Galatians, and Galatians specifies why. It wasn't all of the seeds of the woman. Every person born of a woman is what this is about. No, it's about one person born of a woman. Born of a woman without the seed of a man. And that is Christ.
And what does he mean by crush the head in the Hebrew?
Now, what does that mean?
That
dies
Jesus
on the
is-
cross.
Let's talk about what is you will crush his heel.
Satan gets wounded.
People crush his head.
Referencing the garden.
Jesus will die. That's
No.
No.
Whose heel gets hurt?
Jesus.
Jesus. What does it mean that Jesus' heel would be hurt?
Died on the cross. He,
What
Satan
would
is
it
the one
mean
gets
to be hit in the heel? What is
He can't
think
walk.
think literally before you think spiritually. We want to jump right to the spiritual. Think in the physical before what happens when you're hit in the heel.
he was wounded for
You
our
have trouble
transgression.
walking.
Specifically, what happens when you're hit in the heel?
Oh, you
You
go
can't
down
walk.
the tendon type thing.
Why? What happens?
It's your Achilles tendon.
Achilles tendon. What happens when you hit the Achilles tendon?
You
Oh,
fall.
you ever been hit with a shopping cart?
It is the Achilles tendon is one of the most crippling injuries that you can possibly sustain. So what will Satan do to Jesus?
Bruising.
Severely crippled.
Wounded.
He will hurt him severely. Isaiah 53 says what?
Wounded for our
His bruised
transgression.
He was wounded for our transgressions, bruised for our iniquities. The torment that our sin caused was laid upon him. So he is saying Satan will hurt you immensely. What's that referring to?
Crucifixion.
The crucifixion. But you, Jesus, the seed of the woman, will do what?
His head.
Will crush his head. What does it mean to crush someone's head?
Kill
Kill.
Kill them.
Victory.
If I crush your head, what happens to the battle? We're fighting, I crush your head.
It's
You win.
over.
Victory.
Battle's over. It's done.
The victim.
There's not, ooh, he just crushed my head. Let's keep fighting. Anybody ever seen Monty Python and the Holy Grail?
Oh.
The
When he
Black
gets his
Knight,
arms cut off.
You know,
Yeah.
the knight, the legs and the arms, and there's only a scratch.
Merely a flesh wound.
When somebody crushes your head, do you say 'tis only a scratch?
I'd love to see how you say it if you don't have a mouth.
Yeah. So what is Jesus going to do to Satan?
Kill him.
Utterly destroy him. Battle over.
No, and Satan knew this at this time. Like he accepted his fate.
I don't know that any person here can speak for the psychology of Satan.
But I'm saying, like, he knew Jesus, Mary, like he understood, unlike me,
Yeah,
he understood.
I think he had an understanding of that, yes.
He's insane though.
Does he utterly accept that there's no way he can win?
I think he knows he's gonna lose, but that he stalls. He
I
does
think he wants
everything he
to-
can to prolong his reign and his time here on earth.
I think that there's part of that, but I think there's some part of Satan, and I've just seen evil people that reflect him, that think if I can just do this right, maybe I can. It's a long shot,
It's all I got.
but and what? Why does Satan so much hate Israel?
Because they're God's people.
True, but that's
Because
not
he
it.
doesn't have.
Thinks he's better than him.
Because,
He's gonna be judged by him.
if he wipes them out, then he wins.
Yes. What has to happen for the end to come?
The
Most important Old
144,000
Testament prophecy about
Israel has to believe.
Desolation of
The
the
What?
third temple,
tabernacle.
what has to happen for the end to come? What's the most important Old Testament prophecy about end times?
His people have
Two
to
witnesses.
What's the
and
most important Old Testament prophecy about end times?
The
I've said this
witnesses.
like 37 million times. What is it?
Daniel 9:24.
Daniel 9:24 to 27. What has to happen in Daniel 9:24 to 27?
Abomination of desolation.
There has to be the 70th week of Daniel. We've had the first 69 that went from rebuilding the temple to the presentation of Messiah as king. Was that fulfilled literally?
Yes.
Daniel 9.
24 to 27. So when you start with Daniel 9:24, it takes you from the time that the decree goes forth from Cyrus to rebuild the temple until the coming of Messiah. When does Messiah come?
The 70th week of Daniel.
When does Messiah come?
69.
And the church leave, what?
When did Messiah come? Give me a historical event.
Oh, the birth of Jesus.
No.
Palm
Close.
Sunday.
The resurrection when he was raised.
No.
Now the
When
guesses.
did the Messiah come? And he said, down in the village, you will find a donkey with its foal. Did you say Palm Sunday?
You
Go get it. And they put their cloaks upon him. And no, everybody was talking. I just heard you say Sunday. I didn't hear the palm part. Hey,
Just a random Sunday.
yeah, my ears are getting old. And what did they do?
They all put his clothes on him, put palm branches down.
Hosanna,
In the highest.
Hosanna,
Messiah has come.
blessed is he who comes
In the
in
name
the
of
name of the Lord.
So they accepted him as Son of God.
And they presented him as the Messiah. And what did the nation of Israel do?
Reject him.
Murder.
Kill him. The leadership of the nation said, kill him. They rejected their Messiah. Now you're in Daniel 9:26. Daniel 9:26 says, and after the time that Messiah comes, what will happen? He will be cut off. What's that?
Crucifixion.
Crucifixion. Did that happen after he was presented as Messiah?
Literally.
A week later, right? Less than a week later. Then it says the prince of the people who will come and destroy the temple. Did that happen?
Yes.
Yes.
When did that happen?
70 AD.
70 AD. The Romans came and destroyed the temple. Then it says what will happen? No. There will be desolations decreed until the end. What does that mean?
Israel at war to the end.
Israel will be persecuted and desolated until were the Jewish people hounded and tortured and oppressed from the time the temple was destroyed until the modern era. and still are.
Yeah.
Then you come to verse 27, and what does it say? And he, the Antichrist, the leader of the people who will come, will form a treaty with the many for 1/7.
That hasn't happened.
Who is the many?
Here it
Or
is.
who is at least among the many?
The nation.
The nation of
Israel.
Israel. So if Israel is totally destroyed, what cannot happen?
Can't be saved.
Isaiah 9:27, Daniel 9:27 cannot be fulfilled. If Daniel 9:27 can't be fulfilled, what happens to scripture?
It falls apart.
Satan wins.
Just real quick, listen to Erica Kirk's message. Just look it up on the internet.
Yeah.
Listen
Right,
to her
I've read the whole
message.
thing. Couldn't stop crying.
Yeah, I actually tried to look it up today, but it keeps showing like 1 minute clips, but I want to.
I just looked it up. YouTube, or I did it on YouTube and it gave me a 35-40 minute.
I like kind of heard a little bit of this, a
Yeah.
little bit of that, but like I want to hear.
Listen to that. And I suggest everybody else that too.
Wasn't
Yeah, I
it-
saw it.
Wasn't it phenomenal?
Yes.
Yeah, she was amazing.
I know.
Strong as a rock.
So I believe that one of the things that Satan is trying to do is, hey, I've got to take a shot at it. If I can eliminate all of the Jewish people, if I can eliminate the people of Israel, prophecy will go unfulfilled and I can continue to rule the world forever.
Because then God won't destroy it and there won't be.
Because then God will have no reason to come back. That 70th week won't take place. That means what is the entire book of Revelation, especially chapters 6 through 19?
Israel.
What is Revelation 6 to 19?
That's Daniel 9, 20, 24 to 27.
Daniel,
Explanation.
Revelation, get this down, Revelation 6 to 19 is the divine expansion and commentary
Revelation
Of
6.
Daniel.
to 6 to 19. Those are both chapters, not 6:19, 6 to 19, 6:1 to the end of 19. They are the divine commentary and expansion of Daniel 9:27. What is packed into the few little words of Daniel 9:27 is expanded in Revelation 6 to 19.
Daniel 9, 27, the whole chapter.
No,
Just-
9:27, that one verse. Daniel 9:27, Revelation 6 to 19 is the divine expansion of what that is going to entail.
Revelation 6, 1 to 19.
No, 6,
Chapter 6 to chapter
Correct.
19.
Chapter-
19.
chapter 6 to
7,
chapter,
9.
yes.
Oh, you're running out of fingers.
You don't have enough fingers.
He has to stop at 14. The rest of us can at least get to 15. So again, if there is no Israel, there can be no peace treaty, which means the end can never come because there can be no Revelation 6 to 19.
But if he,
And what does Revelation 6:19 end with?
Him being thrown in the lake of fire.
Well, somebody gets thrown in the lake of fire, but it starts in 1910. What happens at the end of 19?
Judgment.
forget it.
Yes, but what's going on with Armageddon?
Well, the
What
signs-
event?
Yeah, the looting.
And I saw a white horse,
Oh,
and
Jesus comes
him
back.
who sat upon it, whose name is faithful and true. What happens at the end of 19?
Jesus comes back.
Jesus returns in glory. But if Revelation 6-19 can't happen, what can't happen?
He can't come back.
Jesus can't come back in glory.
But if he were to destroy Israel, wouldn't that just fulfill the prophecy of Magog and Saudi Arabia joining?
No, it all falls apart.
Because there's no people. They
There's
can't.
no one to form that.
They're all
history.
gone.
So what you're saying is like Hitler could have been an instrument of Satan to try and
Oh, he was.
to end Israel.
Yep. And he failed. Why did he fail?
I'm gonna say because they're God's chosen.
Because the Holy Spirit.
Because God prevented it from succeeding. He let it go this far,
Stop them.
pulled the rug out from under. And it wasn't just Hitler. Who else was trying to exterminate the Jewish people at that time?
Right.
Stalin. In Russia, they were being persecuted, and on beyond World War II. And if you go back in history before that,
Nero.
Antiochus?
oh yeah, way back then. But if you go back,
Rome, Palestine.
um, ever heard of this thing called the Spanish Inquisition?
No.
Nobody expected the Spanish Inquisition.
The Jewish people thought Spain was the most enlightened nation. They could go there and be safe. And what happened? So wherever they've gone, sooner or later, Satan tries to kill them all. What was absolutely terrifying was last year, because what happened last year?
Read them October 7th.
October 7th.
Or something.
October 7th.
Well, that was there for the first time in American history. We had a large group of people in America calling for the killing of the Jews. And so if you went on those college campuses like Columbia,
Still doing it.
you saw people publicly calling for the elimination of the Jewish people as a race.
Jewish
Now, a
students
lot
are
of
being
those were
attacked on campus.
agitators from the Middle East that had come over, and that's slowly coming out. But the fact that that found such a ready audience in the United States, because since World War II, or since even a little before World War II, what has been the safe haven for the Jews?
America.
America.
America, specifically, not just New York City. Where's the other place?
Florida,
I'm sorry,
Florida.
Florida. Florida and New York are the largest Jewish communities in the world, more so than Israel.
One of the companies I deal with, B&H, they're pretty much just Jewish people that work there.
Yeah,
I worked for a Jewish company.
yeah. So again, why is Satan so fixated on that? Because if he can succeed, he can destroy prophecy. And once he can pull at a string of prophecy and get it to unravel, maybe I can win. What dooms Satan from winning? The prophecies. So if I can make the prophecies untrue, I've got my best shot. Now, does he believe? Yeah, I'm gonna. But again, you were in the underworld. People will tell you,
Underworld.
Wait, where did you come from, Nick?
the mob.
Oh, I thought you were swimming
No,
around.
not that. How many of those guys thought they'd get away with it forever?
All of
Yeah. And again, where does that spirit come from?
But did they feel any type of remorse or guilt? In general, like I'm saying, like, was that
yeah,
a,
after they got caught.
Yeah.
They ratted like little chirps.
Because they wanted to get off less. I mean, they
Yeah.
wanted to get lesser
Because the
sin.
thing, God created Satan directly. I mean, he was an angel, which
Correct.
would be his divine beings. So don't they all have ingrained that knowledge of God? So wouldn't he ultimately know, even though he's like, but isn't there that kernel? It's the same thing, like, as humans, we have that.
Revelation 12. And I'll just give this as a thing of Satan's psychology. Verses 7 and 8.
And there was a war in heaven, Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back, but he was not strong enough.
Now, what does it say when God says, get out? What was Satan's response? No.
He resisted, he fought back.
When God said, get him, Michael, what was Satan's response? Well, we're going to lose. We can't fight God. We can't win.
On the war.
What was his response?
No, I'm not.
He fought. And what's the only time that he left? Verse 8.
Just cast
He
down.
wasn't strong enough.
He
He wasn't
Right.
strong enough. It wasn't that he looked and said, oh, this isn't going to work. He got his hat handed to him and was driven out the door. You ever watch one of those, old westerns and the guy mouths off in the saloon? Then it cuts to the street and what happens?
He gets thrown out.
Down the doors.
The floppity doors, the guy flies through, and then there's the big windows in the front, and somebody comes through
And he lands in the water.
they land in the watering trough.
Yeah.
The horse trough.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened to Satan.
You know what?
But again, does that happen because you go politely and go, nope, I can't win? Or does that go because you thought you could win and weren't strong enough? That's going to be my defense of Satan's psychology. He's looking for a way to win. And if he can't win, what's plan number 2?
I'm gonna take as many people with
As
me.
many as you can with him.
Yeah, I'll hurt as many as I can on my way out the door.
That's what's being done right
Yeah. God bless. Have a great week.
now.
Thanks,
See
Tom.
y'all.
Later, guys.
Have a good night.
Have a great night,
night, guys.
everybody.